Two.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chinchilla Picking Podcast. It is March the 22nd, 2026 at 4:10 p.m. As always, we hope to be entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. My name is David Underwood, and I'm joined by the Baron of Bonds himself, Brandon Beaver. Brandon, how are you?
Good. Just recorded the first episodes of the Whatever This Is podcast that's going to make it out there. What do you think we should release the episode that me and you did as a bonus episode here for the Chinchilla Picking audience as well? Or I didn't ask you this off. It's probably an off the air question, but
yeah, let's sidebar that as a corporate jargon. Let's take that on a sidebar and let's move it over here.
So yeah, the funny thing about that was that on Friday, my nephew, he's a filmmaker, and his
I forgot that. That explains everything.
he's still in film school, and really talented guy, but his schedule is really jam packed, and I hadn't heard anything back from him. We had initially planned an interview for yesterday, and I hadn't heard anything back, so I just assumed he wasn't going to be able to make it. So then I contact Dave and say, hey, you want to do an episode with me? And then Dave immediately says yes. And then right after that, Dylan says, hey, yeah, I'm good to go for tomorrow. What time? So yesterday I did an interview with you where it's not even really an interview. These are just discussions. And we went I don't know, an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. And then me and Dylan went 3 hours.
Ooh.
So by the end of the day, after 4 hours of doing shows, dude, I was so fried.
Wow, that's a long talk, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk. You and I could talk for hours, 8, 9, 10 hours, 12, all day. That's fine. But on a podcast type setting,
yeah, when you're trying to drive a discussion, it is. I didn't think it was going to be as mentally taxing as it was. I don't know how Joe Rogan does 2.5, 3 hours every day.
He has points he wants to hit. He has points he wants to hit. See, with you and I, we've done this for years now. We have a back and forth. We kind of can fill each other out, and we kind of have a good repertoire. But when you bring in on someone new all the time, you really need that outline, that agenda. Here's the points I want to hit, and I want to stay away from anything else. Stay on these points. Yeah, which is hard for us.
But it was funny for him though too, because I did have that agenda, and we went well beyond it into multiple different topics, and it was awesome. I loved it, dude. I loved having my nephew on there. I love talking to him all the time. So just to tell you guys, just real quick, so he created his own film company called Westmar Film. It's on YouTube, and he had been submitting independent films to multiple different film festivals, and he kept getting rejected because he didn't know the right people. And he was also telling me that for everyone that you have to pay these people, you submit your film to them, and for a film submission you have to pay them, and then if they reject it, you don't get your money back. So he just finally got mad about it and started his own film festival and sold it out in 2 weeks.
It's the way to do it.
It's a good story. Yeah. And that's what I was talking about. It was Wall Street, stocks, whatever you're looking at, industry is rife with stuff like that happening. The success stories beginning just like that.
Yep. So I agree. All right. A lot of news. The Iran war is still going on. Oil did not hit 120, like I said. To look out for was my price point. It should have hit. It should probably hit 120 if there's no big news, but I think there's going to be big news. We could get into that further discussion as far as oil, how that's affected, how stocks are affected by the current situation over there, and other things, because we have stock and investment news today, Brandon. We do. Rules. Brandon and I get together 5 to 10 minutes before the show, and we tell each other what we're going to talk about. You hear the live back and forth, the bicker and the banter right here on the show for you. There might be some bickering this time. Might be this show, maybe. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Brandon, take it away.
I don't think I'm going to say anything you disagree with. I wanted to ask you a question, though. How long do you think oil does stay above $100 a barrel?
It stays above $100 a barrel until the current administration slows down, backs down, or Iran backs down. And I believe Iran will back down first.
Okay.
There's
The
too
other thing,
many. There's too many of their generals that have been killed for the ones underneath to continue to have the same vigor and fight as those ones did. When it's there's too many people being chopped off at the head here, basically, if you will, to use a military speak, to continue with such ferocity. They're going to have to eventually give up. They have no control over their airspace. They have no control over the seas in front of them. Their only thing that they're able to do is to shoot drones and missiles.
right?
And that's it. That's all they can do right now. And eventually they'll run out of those. And so it's eventually going to come to an end. And they're going to give up.
It's not going to last forever.
No.
This isn't. You don't think this is another Iraq?
No. Not even close.
I hope you're right.
We initially, when the current administration started this, they came on TV and they said 4 to 6 weeks. Hasn't even been 4 yet.
There's some conflicting
People
reports.
need to realize that they said 4 to 6 weeks. It has not even hit 4 yet.
And there's conflicting reports that some people were saying that they're sending the 82nd Airborne for troops to be on the ground. But then other people say that's not the case. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
As far as official word from the administration or the Pentagon, that is not the case for official word from those two entities.
Okay. So the first thing I wanted to get into, and this is going to be kind of a quicker thing, economic forecasting models are showing headline inflation numbers around 3% for the second quarter.
It did jump up. I was surprised, Brandon, at the inflation numbers. Were you not surprised? I mean, I knew oil would have an effect on it, but everything else, excluding oil, did you see that coming?
No, I did not.
I didn't either. I did not see that inflation number coming in as hot as it did, and that was unaccounted for by me.
Yeah. Personal consumption expenditures, they're saying, will probably remain between 2.7 and 2.9% through the third quarter of 2026. So do you think that puts a wrench in the plans to lower interest rates?
I believe oil puts a wrench in the plan to lower interest rates. And I believe that Chairman Powell came out and even said that, this is what I read in his statement, was that he believes we should be lowering interest rate, but we have to wait for this Iran situation to temper and oil prices to come down.
I don't think it should have anything to do with that, but I think it does.
Of course it does.
It shouldn't. I don't think they should even factor that in because it has nothing to do with
oil price. Oil has a direct impact on inflation, and inflation is one of the key metrics that the Fed has been put in charge. That's one of their mission statements. That's one of their objectives, is put in charge of inflation. And so if that's what they are assigned to do, quote unquote, as one of their two major responsibilities, Brandon, they have to take that into consideration, and they have to use that as, okay, we need to keep rates right where they're at for right now.
They're not going to do anything about oil prices, though. Whether the rates go up or down, the oil prices are going to remain elevated because the Strait of Hormuz situation. The Federal Reserve's monetary policy does not really have anything to do with that.
But they can assist in inflation.
Well, they could, but they keep interest rates high enough and cause deflationary pressures to hit. And in that situation, that's not going to be good.
And do you think if they just kept rates right where they're at, do you think that would cause deflation?
Eventually.
Really?
Yeah.
Historically, we're at normal levels. The last 15 years, ever since 2008, I mean, that was the abnormality.
There's two different reasons why businesses.
Now we're going historical, and you of all people I know better.
Historically, yeah, but not within the past 25 years.
Well, yeah, because of 2008. And that is why
Right.
the interest rates were so low for so long. And they were below levels they've ever been at ever in the history of the United States. We are now back to normal levels that we have operated in for over, I don't know how, since the Federal Reserve existed or interest rates existed. And now we're saying this is too high. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
well, because the business environment got used to the ultra low, historically low
Well, then
interest
they're going to have
rate
to get used
environment.
to the normal levels
And
again.
that's going to be adjustments that they're going to have to make with reduced spending and reduced hiring and reduced wage growth, if that's the case. And that's where the deflationary pressures might pick up.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Maybe I got to run these through my head here real quick. Go ahead.
I just don't think that oil should be a factor. I know it is, but I don't.
It's a huge factor. It's a big part of the economy.
It is a big part of the economy, but it's not a part of the economy in a war-torn environment. In a war environment, not war-torn, but in a war environment, the Federal Reserve doesn't control that. And they can't. The only way they can do it is increase interest rates or leave them where they're at and then put more pressure on businesses to fire people.
They can also print money or not print money.
Well, if they printed money, then the price of oil would actually go up.
Yeah.
Because it's tied to the dollar. But the interest rates is a better way of doing it. If they lowered interest rates, maybe it would affect oil a little bit, but not as much as if they did like a quantitative easing program, which would increase the price.
They need to do quantitative tightening, which is what we were doing, and we stopped it.
I would prefer quantitative tightening mixed with a lower interest rate environment. That's where I think a decent monetary policy would be. It's a good middle ground.
Gotcha. And if you're listening right now, you're one of our newer listeners. Quantitative easing is when the government will print money. They'll create $1 billion, and then they'll they'll use that printed money they have to buy $1 billion worth of bonds, so that the U.S. government can basically fund itself by just creating its own money, and that is quantitative easing. So the U.S. government issues a bond in order to raise money, right? They say, hey, here's $1 billion bond. We'll pay back over 30 years. We'll pay you 5% a year for over 30 years, and then you'll get your money back. And the Federal Reserve is going to just, out of thin air, print $1 billion US dollars and buy that $1 billion US bond with the money they just printed. That is called quantitative easing. Right. Quantitative tightening is the exact opposite of that. As the bonds expire, we delete this excess money we have, or we don't print anymore ever. And we tighten the market, and we have fewer dollars floating around in the system. And thus each dollar becomes worth more theoretically because there's fewer of it.
Right. So there's two different reasons why when I'm reading surveys and such that businesses have slowed their hiring and slowed their spending right now. Number one is waiting for lower interest rates. Number two is artificial intelligence. Well, not in any particular order. It's really like both of those reasons: artificial intelligence and the waiting for lower interest rates, which we'll see if that happens. I think it's going to happen because I don't think that Trump's going to put somebody in the Fed chair position that's not going to lower interest rates, because it's really what
he's already made his pick and he's already been confirmed.
Right.
And so he's already moving. Has a date been set? I believe the date has been set that they'll have the swap.
I don't know.
I
didn't read that.
So I have to check.
This on top, the crazy thing that I saw too, first of all, corporate margins across the economy are still near historic highs right now.
Oh yeah.
Which, I mean, that, goes back to the soft landing, which I still put myself in the soft landing category right now.
I have flip-flopped. I will say that. For the past
it's hard not to.
Over the past 6 months, Brandon, I have flip-flopped. But I will defend myself by saying I have flip-flopped based off of data that I cited every time I went back and forth. I was citing data as my reasoning for those.
So did I. I flip-flopped as well, and I did the same thing. So I don't blame you at all for this.
But I usually don't flip-flop. I usually stick to one thing.
With the interest rates being higher and with the fear of artificial intelligence taking everybody's jobs, people have sold off the artificial intelligence companies. It's so ironic to me. So much so
except for
that
Nvidia is still high.
No, it's now down year to date.
A little bit, a hair.
It's like 6%, I think. Broadcom's down 11%.
We all need to buy Tesla on Monday.
Yeah, help Dave
not just because I own an option in it right now. No,
come on,
that's
guys.
not the only reason why.
We do this for free.
Yeah,
help Dave out.
Yes, help me out. Everybody buy Tesla.
Right. So, so much so the Motley Fool just released an article today, I think it was, saying that there's a $700 billion warning because artificial intelligence stocks going down. It's wiped $700 billion of market cap out of the stock market. And they're saying that this is actually a headwind and not a tailwind. Chinchilla Picking Podcast listeners should know that if a stock goes down, that's a good company. That's a tailwind. And that's, that's a reason to buy it and not to sell it. One of the companies that has been a victim here has been Broadcom, and they're down 11% year to date. Meanwhile, they just recorded a record net revenue of $19.31 billion, a staggering 29% year over year increase. Artificial intelligence silicon demand surged to $8.4 billion in the first quarter, 106% year over year increase, like beating expectations by a mile. They're guiding now for an acceleration to $22 billion in total revenue, representing a 47% year over year growth for the end of this year. So again, showing crazy increases in revenue here. By the way, 77% gross margin profile too. So the margins are great. The revenue increasing is great. And it's accelerating despite...
What's the PE?
I didn't put the price to earnings ratio down, but I can tell you the PEG ratio is below 1. The forward PEG ratio is below 1, which I think in my opinion, with these companies, and Broadcom's been around for a very long time, but because
it's been around
intelligence, yeah, but because of artificial intelligence, it's now a growth company again. So the PEG ratio to me matters more than the price to earnings ratio. And again, given their guidance, everybody's so scared that the artificial intelligence demand has peaked.
67, by the way.
Their guidance is accelerating. So where's the disconnect here?
At 67 PE. Is their guidance accelerating that fast? Because Nvidia did. Nvidia was working because it did accelerate that fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're not going to go 67% in 1 year, but the PEG ratio being 47, being below 1 right now, it is accelerating quicker than what the price
EU is hitting Broadcom with the antitrust valuation.
Everybody's getting hit with the antitrust valuation from the EU. Meta deals with it every day. So don't worry about it so much.
That's actually true. Yeah,
I never read it anymore. I'm like, that's just normal news.
That's just true.
It's not even a headwind anymore because everybody just guides for antitrust violations from the EU.
Broadcom insiders selling lots of shares.
I also don't care that much about that either. I mean, I do, and I understand why people.
3 major insiders sold over $70 million worth of shares
for the last 5 years. The stock has skyrocketed, right? So that's going to be normal. Who knows? Maybe they're buying a yacht. You never really know what the reason for that is.
That's true. I will give you that. That is, you don't know the reason for it. Maybe there's an actual valid reason in that person's personal life why they need that money.
Right. So here's the tailwinds here. Here's the upcoming tailwinds. They're now shipping their record-breaking super highway chip. It's the Tomahawk 6 switch, which removes the biggest traffic jams in AI data centers by moving data between thousands of computers at speeds never seen before. This can move data at 102 terabits per second. That's a record. Nobody's ever been able to do that. To put that into layman's terms that everybody can understand, that is downloading the entire Netflix library in less than a second.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Also, their new Taurus chip is the first of its kind to use light instead of electricity to move data, which could solve the massive power bill problem that AI data centers are having. That's wild.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Light speed. Also, here we come.
Also,
let's go plaid speed. I want to go plaid speed.
Plaid speed?
I'm just going to I'm not going to explain it. If you get the reference, DM me. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I don't understand it, so maybe explain it to me as well. Everybody with Nvidia, one of the reasons why that stock hasn't really moved higher is that they're fearful that Meta and Google doing their own custom chips is going to eat into Nvidia's revenue, right?
And Tesla.
So Broadcom helps Google and Meta design their custom chips specifically for their artificial intelligence needs. They own 60% of the custom chip market.
Nice.
So that's your backup. The other headwind that people were saying for Broadcom and the software division, right? So we've been talking a lot about software.
They have a software division?
They do. And artificial intelligence is killing that per person model. We've talked about this multiple times over and over again. And then last week, me and you were talking that the software apocalypse that we're seeing is not really going to be an apocalypse. It's just going to make them have to change the way they bill, right?
Yes, correct.
So instead of doing the per seat model, they're going to have to do something else. Broadcom is the first one to change their billing model. So companies are now using AI agents to do the work instead of humans. So it's decreasing that seat count. Broadcom saw this coming. They just recently switched from a per person to a per core model. So per person would be per user. Per core is now based on hardware power. So they no longer care how many humans are using their software. So even if an AI agent replaces every human in the office, Broadcom still gets paid the same based on the physical power of the servers that are running the artificial intelligence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So they're essentially like every question that artificial intelligence is being asked by somebody, or every problem that it is solving, is an additional cost for Broadcom's customers now. And in some cases, this is where I am a little weary of this, because in some cases it has increased their customers' cost by 700%. And right now they're still paying for it. But when giants like Meta and Google see an increased cost of that magnitude, they often start looking elsewhere or trying to figure out other methods. So I would worry if I was Broadcom a little bit about that, maybe temper that down a little bit or try to smooth that over, because you don't want to make your biggest customers mad.
I'm sure they'll have a deal for those guys, but I like their billing method because you're actually charging people by the usage,
right?
Makes sense.
And others have started to follow suit here. So Salesforce.
How is Microsoft Office going to do that, though?
They have not. So I'll get to that here in a second. Salesforce is now pivoting to charging $2 per conversation with a chat bot, or 10 cents per AI action. Intercom and Zendesk have moved to outcome-based pricing. So
$2 per conversation with a chatbot?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely. That's agree with that.
It's way too high.
But here's one that I question.
It should be a penny, if anything.
Right. It is.
If anything like that. It should be less than a penny.
100%. I 100% agree with that. Intercom and Zendesk, they've moved to what's called outcome-based pricing. So you don't pay for the software. You pay 99 cents for every problem the AI successfully solves. If the AI fails, you don't pay. I don't know how they figure out if it failed or not. Because every time I've asked artificial intelligence a question and it provided me a wrong answer, it defended itself relentlessly. So I don't know how they figured that out. The outlier here, Microsoft is still using per seat, but I think what they're doing is they're just sitting back and waiting to see which one of these models works before they pivot. Because their cloud is accelerating incredibly at an incredible rate. Their revenue, everything like that so far has been fine. So I think that right now they're saying, okay, we're going to stick to this per seat model for right now because right now we're doing okay. We're doing good. Let's wait and let the other competitors fail and succeed before we figure out which way we're going to go. They're adopting that pioneers get the arrows, settlers get the land mindset, I think.
Wow. Is it? I had a few comments, but now I remember we're on a podcast. I get what you're saying, and you're taking all this into consideration. You're saying that this billing is. Tell me if I'm wrong. The new billing process is bad, or there are a lot of companies that are doing it bad.
So I like the
because I think there's a lot of companies that are doing it bad.
I like the billing process that Broadcom's going by right now. I like that. I think they need to be a little bit easier with it. Seeing a 700% increase on any cost for any business right now is going to raise some flags.
And $2 per chat conversation. What company?
Well, that one was Salesforce. Hold on, let me look.
That was Salesforce. I'm selling Salesforce.
$2 per conversation for sales.
Yeah,
Salesforce.
No. Yeah. Sell. Why would you charge that? You're going to lose customers. Nobody's going to pay that.
Yeah, no, I don't like it either. It's too much.
Nobody's going to pay that.
I pay less than that for Gemini myself.
How much is Gemini Pro a month?
20, I think.
$20 a month. How many conversations do you have going on?
Oh, every day. Every day.
Multiple every day.
Yeah, multiple every day.
See, I mean, you're paying less than Salesforce. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
At my job, we've got a dedicated co-pilot. I have conversations with that every day too.
I have a dedicated co-pilot as well. It's called Goose.
What's that? Is that for Wayfair?
It's Top Gun reference.
Okay. My nephew would be disappointed in me right now.
I can't believe you missed that one.
I definitely.
I get why you would miss the other movie reference, but that one for you, just for you, like.
So the other one's a movie.
A lot of our other listeners would miss that one as well, but I figured you would have got that one.
That's all I got for today, which I did take up 35 minutes. So
no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. It's a 40-minute meeting runtime. We got 2.5 minutes left.
We had like 5 minutes of fluff where you had to vent about something.
It counts.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. All right, here we go. Headline reads, oh no, I don't want that headline. I want this one. Headline reads, exclusive. Pentagon to adopt Palantir AI as core U.S. military system.
I read that.
This was released 2 days ago at 7:29 p.m. I'm glad you read it. It's talking about the Maven artificial intelligence system. It's going to be the official program of record.
Which is the holy grail for defense providers.
Do you want to take over?
No, I'm good. By the way, I thought you would be proud of me for not talking about Palantir today.
I am. I'm not. I mean, I want you to because this is something you bragged about. I was going to give you all the credit here, but I was going to go into what this means. But becoming an official program of record, yes, it's like the holy grail for defense contractors. It basically means if you get this kind of designation, it means you're always going to have money flowing in to keep this program up and running because it's now considered a vital part of our defense of a country.
Love it.
Right? This order is a significant win for Palantir, which has landed a growing stream of contracts with the U.S. government, including a deal announced last summer with the U.S. Army Corps. Those awards have doubled the company's stock price the past year, lifting its market value to nearly $360 billion. Maven that's the artificial intelligence unit from Palantir. Maven can rapidly analyze huge amounts of data from satellites, drones, radars, sensors, and intelligence reports, and use AI to automatically identify potential threats or targets like military vehicles, buildings, and weapons and stockpiles. So when we started this is a quote from them. It literally took hours to do what you just saw in the video they put up last week. It was a quick couple-minute long video. It took hours to do what they saw in just a few minutes, and now they could just do it so quickly. Palantir developed its AI system to serve the Pentagon, Project Maven, which has been a During a presentation at Palantir event earlier this month, Pentagon official Cameron Stanley, who leads its AI office, demonstrated how the company's Maven platform could be used for weapons targeting in the Middle East. He showed a heat map screenshots from the Maven platform. Basically, United Nations expert panels have warned that AI weapons targeting without human intervention raises ethical, legal, security risks since AI picks up inadvertent biases from the data it used to train it. Palantir says that software does not make lethal decisions and humans remain responsible for selecting and improving targets. Palantir developed its AI system to serve the Pentagon's Project Maven, which began as a drone imagery labeling program in 2017. In 2024, the Pentagon awarded Palantir a contract worth up to $480 million. That year, Palantir's Chief Technological Officer Shyam Sankar told the House Armed Services Committee that Maven had tens of thousands of users and urged Congress to provide more funding. In May of 2025, the Pentagon increased the contract ceiling to $1.3 billion. And now all of a sudden, Brandon, it's worth tens of billions of dollars.
Yes.
Palantir looks like a buy to me.
100%. Has been for a while, will continue to be for a while.
Palantir has definitely led the way in this current Iran confrontation that is going on over there. The Project Maven has been used out there in that operation, I guess. Yes.
It's going to be controversial because it's war.
Yes.
It always will be. But I mean, there's tons of data that come from satellites, drones, sensors, and such. And this translates that data and analyzes it faster than any human can.
Yeah, I mean, there used to be a whole whole groups of individuals that would run through maps, run through data, and select targets. There was targeting officers, targeting intelligence officers. A person in my family personally was an intelligence officer in the military and a targeting and intelligence officer in government intelligence. And that person gave talks to NATO Command, among other things, during the 80s and 90s. That person was the most experienced targeting officer in the military during Operation Desert Storm. And that person had told me a lot about what they did. And when you take that and you realize Maven does all of that, and it's just, because this individual had like a teams working for them and with them, and now Maven just does it all. Crazy.
They also just recently guided their 2026 revenue to $7.19 billion, which implies 61% growth.
Right. So, Palantir, big buy.
Agree.
Talking about the current situation, because I told our listeners we would discuss it and how it affects financial investment markets. Brandon, just want to make sure I specify that before we get into it. How does the current situation in Iran? Number one is oil, right? We've talked about that briefly here. We talked about how that affects interest rates. And that is the main driver here. And it's oil for Europe and Asia. And it's so much of it flows out of there, and there's some that needs to flow in order to provide but supplies for that area, but they could go to other ports. It's more of trying to get the oil out of the Strait of Hormuz safely. And having said that, and we know that's a big issue, what are you looking for, if any, statements this week from the administration regarding the Iran situation that would make you be a buy buyer back of the truck? Or is there anything at all that they could say that would make you feel that way?
But buy on what though? Like just buy the market or
Buy the
buy?
market. Like the market would be jumping up. What
So
statements could they make this week that are possible?
honestly, it's not going to make a difference for me.
Really?
Yeah, because you don't know. Like war is so unpredictable. And so I'm not really basing my buying thesis on what's happening in Iran.
See, I completely disagree. If Iran came out and said that we accept the terms and we will stop hostilities, boom, markets are jumping up multiple percentage points across the board.
But I'm already going to be positioned for that because I've been buying for the past couple weeks, anyways. Bought more Google. I bought more Nvidia. I bought more of a lot of different things already. I bought more Microsoft. Um, just because the valuations are looking really good to me right now. And I'm going to buy Broadcom tomorrow as well. So if something happens this week and the war in Iran is looking worse and there's a dip and I've got some extra cash on hand, then I may be looking to buy more then as well. If something happens next week and they come out and they say that this war's closer to ending than what was thought last week, then great. I'm gonna sit back and watch my stocks go up.
I mean, Trump said that himself on Friday. He said that they're closer than they thought they were to ending this operation.
Which is great. I hope it's right. I'm sure it is.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm optimistic that it's going to be wrapped up within the given timeline, the 4 to 6 week timeline that they said, because of how fast the military has moved on Iran in 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks. Look at everything that's been done, and I can't see them lasting much longer. There's just no way.
I wouldn't think so. But you never know. But I wouldn't think so.
The only thing they could continue be making are those little drones that do very little damage. They cannot be making more ballistic missiles. They took out all the major plants. They can't be making any more of the major, big, huge missiles. Once they run out, they run out. And all they're going to have are these tiny little drones.
Yeah, just for me, the like what's going on in Iran doesn't affect my
Doesn't affect anything?
I'm not really because I don't trade commodities.
Fair enough.
Only thing, maybe watch the price of gold if you're still holding Newmont.
Right. Would you short any oil stocks?
Not oil stocks specifically, but I sent you that ticker.
Yes.
Last week, and I don't even remember what the ticker was because I haven't.
I can look it up here.
But, yeah. But maybe buy that if you're going to short oil.
All right. So if oil goes above 120, that's when I'm going to short. And I did not see it short recently. Let me see here if I can find it, where that ticker you sent. But
if you've got enough money in the bank to be able to short a commodity directly, if you're able to do that, then that would be, in my opinion, and if you're able to do it without having to face any margin calls, then that would be the best way to go, in my opinion.
DNO, that's Delta NO.
Yeah, or buying that and then just sitting on it. Because rather than buying a put that's got an expiration date on any company, and anything could happen within that company to make its stock go higher because that's what its management wants to do. But also at the same time, anything could happen with Iran. If Russia or China were to get involved, and it could hold the price of oil above $100 or near that for a while. You just don't know. It's not going to stay that way forever, though. So if you could short it with no time frame, that would be the best, in my opinion.
Man, I don't even see D&O. I looked on Robinhood. That Robinhood doesn't have it. I would have to probably find it on Fidelity or something.
Or Schwab. Yeah.
Schwab.
Yeah. I sent you 2 different tickers, though. There were 2 of them.
SCO was the other one. Let me try SCO. Most of our listeners use Robinhood or Fidelity. Let me try SCO. SEO is on here.
Okay. So go with that one then, if that's what you have.
And it's
If
down
that's
a
your
lot
option.
because of the movement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was at $19. Yeah. Down to $7.98.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Cool. I did not have any earnings this week. That nothing interested me.
Sad.
It's the
Boring.
end of the quarter. Quarter comes
It
around
is.
next.
I love
That's what
earnings, though.
happens.
Yeah.
Nothing interests me. We'll be talking about Alcoa and everybody else starting next week. So, yeah, last week of the quarter, I didn't see any earnings.
That's crazy. I can't believe it's the last week of the quarter already.
I know, right?
Wild.
Final thoughts?
I would buy Nvidia, but buy Broadcom.
Buy Broadcom.
Yep.
I like Palantir. That's one I'm looking at buying.
Palantir as well. Yeah.
Oil goes above 120. I'm looking at shorting. So
right. It always seems to. Why do our corrections always happen around this time of the year? Recently,
this in
like
October.
The last few years. Yeah.
Yeah. October, there's always a move one way or another from September, August, September, and then October corrects it or rebalances.
Right.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, if you liked our show, we're ending on a very quiet note for us. So weird. Usually we're very, into and hyper at this moment in the show, but we're just like so quiet. All right. If you like what you heard, hit the subscribe button, follow us, tell your friends and family all about us. We appreciate you listening. As always, we hope we have been entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Have a good night.
Have a good night.